The Lamborghini Countach. I'm gonna need to get me one of
But
these.
all of that excitement quickly
Who's seen The Wolf of Wall Street? This is the infamous car from The Wolf of Wall Street.
we received a cease and desist letter, a demand letter, and some pretty nasty phone calls.
Great movie.
In the last 10 years of Curated, and I would say maybe in the last 20 years of my career, you could even throw on a few more years considering I did work at my father's service facility, the story of the Wolf of Wall Street Countach may be one of the most full circle, most epic journeys that I've experienced in my life. When you think of Lamborghini Countaches and you think of movie cars and you think of cars that have had an impact, I would say in pop culture, in the car community, the Wolf of Wall Street Countach and that famous
This scene right here, I had a sticker of this on my water bottle at one point.
scene of Leonardo DiCaprio, embodying this larger than life, notorious, infamous character of Jordan Belfort getting out of the Countach is maybe one of the most important scenes in movie history related to a car. I can't tell you how many generations it transcends, walks of life, female, male, everyone knows the scene, and that's
I need to get this car, one, to recreate all of those pictures and to recreate that scene. I'm pretty sure somebody already made a video doing that. But two, to take it across, do the Gumball 3000 in the Wolf of Wall Street Countach.
also because, listen, Martin Scorsese
like my dream
is one of
video.
the greatest directors of our time. Wolf of Wall Street was his highest grossing film of all time and considered, it was nominated for Best Picture and all these really
Or Gumball 3000 in a McLaren F1.
incredible accolades.
Three-seater.
Looking back, what a car to use for a movie to embody the excessive nature of the late 80s, early 90s is a white Lamborghini Countach. We knew the car existed and it was always sort of well documented through the International Lamborghini Registry that there were actually two cars used and a third car used for sound clips, but two 25th anniversary cars used for the filming of the movie. Now, those two cars were US spec cars, white on white, which there was only 12 white on white 1989 Countach anniversaries built for the North American market. So actually quite rare when you think about the car. And it was generally known who owned the car. It was this
Wait, so you said there was only 99 of these white ones ever made of the Countach?
gentleman that actually told
Or of this
stories on
specific,
VinWiki. So
of that specific model, the anniversary model anyway?
that all of that was known. What wasn't known was my personal connection to the car and sort of, I don't know if anyone's ever told this story, but the drama that came after with that car, us finding it, us selling it, and everything in between. It all started when we originally hired Stephen Duncan Peters, incredible young guy, very knowledgeable guy about AMGs. He joined our team now, I think, 5 years ago. Stephen happened to live very close to the former owner of the Wolf of Wall Street Countach, who'd been enjoying the car. He'd been driving it around the country. There's some great stories of him using and enjoying the car.
So just a bunch of people have driven this car after the movie then. I wonder how much it cost to buy it. I wonder what the value of this went for after the movie.
Actually knew this gentleman from the days of my Palm Beach Supercar weekend. He actually, I don't know if he ever brought the car to the show, but he did attend one of our first
Bro,
shows.
that is sick.
I had communication with him over the years. Steven always had in his mind that he wanted to one day help us purchase the car. And I have to say, Joseph, the owner, truly honored his relationship with Stephen. A ton of people were chasing to buy the car, including a few of our clients. And he honored his word that he would give Stephen first shot. So one day he calls Stephen. He says, yes, he is ready to sell. He gave us a number. It was a very big number. At the time, it was a world record for a Countach 25th anniversary. And we agreed to buy the car. And it was a very exciting moment. We knew that the car was in some...
Wait, he's really just going to cuck us like that and not tell us the price that he paid for it? So yeah, no, the owner got a whole bunch of offers, I guess, and he was the one that was joyriding it after the movie, and a bunch of people wanted to buy it, and he said these guys could.
But we didn't know quite what scenes, and we didn't know everything yet. We had a letter, obviously documenting that it was used, and it was just so exciting, and we got the car in. And once I started to really dive into
Is the spoiler stock on a Countach?
the history of the car,
I don't think it is.
Carfax, we started to research everything. I realized that as a kid, maybe 10 years old, 11 years old, I actually used to detail this car. I used to wash this car for the owner. So my father, as you guys know or may not know, had one of the most incredible Lamborghini service facilities in the Palm Beach Gardens area, Lake Park, Florida. It was called Medical Center Garage. And during
Wait, was that a Diablo?
the late 80s, he was
Or is that just a red
authorized
Countach?
to service and sell occasionally Lamborghinis through Joe Nastasi, who was the U.S. distributor for Lamborghini. During that time, if you went to my father's shop, he'd have 20 Countaches there, a few LM002s, some Jalpas, all these really interesting cars. You know, I'd really never imagined. There was this really sweet realtor. He owned that. He owned a red Ferrari Testarossa Strayman, and I believed he owned a Porsche Turbo. And he used to drive this white Countach, and yes, my dad would service it. I would clean it. I actually moved it around a few times. It was one of my first experiences driving a Countach. I think I was 12 or 13 at that moment. As I further dived into the history, I realized that actually the car was, prior to that, was owned by FC Kerbeck. We believed it was actually Mr. Kerbeck's personal car because it wasn't registered for many years, and then the first owner registered it with some miles. So if you guys know anything about FC Kerbeck, he did own personally some white Lamborghinis in time. We were going through this whole history, and I found original photos of it. I found a video that I took as a kid of the car. So this insane full circle that now I once, as a young guy, to make a little money on weekends and then summers, had detailed this car. And we really weren't sure how to sell this car yet. And the reason for that was I really felt it was important to show to the world really what a special Countach that checked all the boxes could bring at a public auction. You know, I got a ton of calls and people reaching out to us, hey, we'd be interested in purchasing the car, we'd be interested in purchasing the car. But many times, some of the best cars sell quickly prior to ever going to public auction. You know, there's been many transactions, many sales that we haven't been able to advertise or publicly talk about. But numerous Countaches that have sold well over $1 million, as close to $2 million. And because they're public sales, I mean, it's hard to justify what the real market is for these really, really exceptional, important cars. And I felt compelled. I felt like,
Okay, so you're paying $2 million plus to get one of these
I had a duty
on the private market. So if you're getting one public, yeah.
to make sure this car was going to sell at a public auction, even though I was going to leave money on the table. I was going to pay, obviously, someone was going to pay fees to RM Sotheby's and whatever auction company I chose to go with. But I felt that was the right move, and we had to do that. So we spoke to a few auction companies. We do have a great relationship with RM Sotheby's, and we immediately listed the car with RM Sotheby's for their New York sale. So we do a massive, big press around this car, and it was just so exciting. Jeremy Cliff did the photos, and he's just so talented. His work is incredible, and we really had a lot of fun. We projected the movie onto the side of the car. We did all these things that I love on the creative process. I mean, that's one of the things I love. And man, the interest was insane. It was just so incredible. We had people from around the world calling. Even the head of RM Sotheby's, Gord Duff, called me and said, wow, you were right. This thing is really special, and I'm even shocked at the attention that it's getting. So I was very proud of that moment, but all of that excitement quickly faded. We received a cease and desist letter, a demand letter, and some pretty nasty phone calls. And that was from the former producer, one of the former producers of the movie. Now, without getting into...
Okay, I was going to say, though, that's a great idea for a YouTube video, watching The Wolf of Wall Street on The Wolf of Wall Street, on the Countach from The Wolf of Wall Street.
Any specifics, what's so wild about the story of The Wolf of Wall Street,
While hopped up on whatever he was taking.
the movie itself, was actually funded by some pretty, weird money. I don't know if you'd call it money laundering or
Kidding.
anything like that. I don't know the real term, but it was money coming from overseas that had been stolen from the Malaysian, I think it was the Malaysian Wealth Fund or Sovereign Fund, something like this. That was a scandal of its own, that money was being used to fund the movie through the producers. So there was this whole scandal drama. I think a few people might have gone to jail or gotten in trouble. And one of the producers had called us, was very upset. And I think
Wait, that's crazy and kind of like ironic. So the people who made the movie were using like illegal stolen funds from Malaysia to fund the movie about a guy trading penny stocks and essentially scamming people.
One thing I've learned in my career is you face problems head on. Get people
Ironic.
face to face, get people on the phone. Don't run away from your problems. So my immediate reaction was, let's get them on the phone. Let's solve this. And I'll never forget, I was traveling, and I don't yell much. So let's preface that. I think through my faith and all the bad things that have happened to me in my life, I have a very cool and calm demeanor today. And I'm traveling, I'm in Italy, and I get a call, and we're coordinating this conference call, and it's the RM team, it's me, it's the former producers, their attorney, and apparently they still owned the wrecked car from the movie. And they felt that our promotion of our car was hurting the value of their car. And, I really disagreed with that, and there was a few reasons. One, I think the famous scene of the car hitting everything and that wrecked Countach was a piece of art. The car itself, it's still today sitting damaged as it was. And I felt that car that way was actually the creative department of the movie actually designed the crash. So it was designed as, this special car, the final result. They used a real Countach 25th anniversary. And I just felt the car has so much value. It's so cool. And,
a wrecked Countach from the movie I could see selling for more than the actual working Countach from the movie. Just the way like collectors are, like you can get a working Countach anywhere, but like you can't get that specific wrecked Countach that Jordan Belfort was in the movie, Leonardo crawling out of.
Let's get these guys on the phone and let's find an amicable agreement. I said, man, listen, I would either love to buy the car, your car, or work together. Let's sell both of the cars together.
Here's a YouTube idea for a rich Saudi Arabian kid, with a rich daddy. You buy a bunch of Countaches and just wrecking Countaches until you wreck one the exact same way as the wrecked one in the movie.
Do something really special. And they were just very mean. I mean, I can't even tell.
And get them like PSA graded.
They started yelling and accusing us of things. And I'm like, listen, I'm not making any bold statement. Whatever you guys want me to share with the world, I'm happy to share with the world. I'm just stating that our car was in the movie. It was one of the hero cars, and that's it. I didn't say anything else. They were very, very litigious. They were, I don't know legally what I could say, but they were not nice. It's very, very rare for me to start yelling at someone, and I lost it. And I said, listen, I am trying to help the value of all Countaches, okay? I think this is...
Dragon Ball.
I think you have to understand what I'm trying to do. I could have sold it for much more money probably before the auction, but I think it should go to a public sale. I think it should be shared with the world. And at the end of the day, let's work together. I'd love to help you. Tell me how I can help you. And I think they just wanted to argue. We ended up, basically, they walked away, we walked away. In a weird turn of events, the owners of the wrecked car, the former producers, decided to immediately send the car to the Bonhams Abu Dhabi sale. Now, I thought this was a weird thing. I think in the context of the world, the American market is the strongest market today for these specialized cars. It is a U.S. Countach, and I think, listen.
Isn't Dubai and like Abu Dhabi like the place for cars there? Like, why America?
The story of the Wolf of Wall Street is this, American crime story that is popular in the U.S.
Oh, okay. I see what he's saying. It's not the car market, but like the famous car market because that movie's popular here. No one's going to give a fuck about that in Dubai because they've never seen the movie.
So I thought it was a weird move. They shipped the car within weeks before the planned New York sale with RM Sotheby's, and the car was part of the Bonhams auction in that November. Now, I don't know the entire story, but I know there were a few bidders. I knew a few of the underbidders on the car. The car went up to $1 million, $1.1 million, $1.2 million. I don't know the exact last bid, but I know they were willing to drop the reserve. The reserve was actually pretty high, and they actually couldn't get in touch with the owner to drop the reserve. There was some sort of argument, from my understanding. The high bidder actually in the last minute backed out. I don't know if the car was sold after. I didn't really care at that point. I didn't want anything to do with the negative energy around that and just wish them best. So we knew at this point that our car was coming up in a few weeks. The wrecked car hadn't sold for up to this amount. It was under 1.5. It was over $1.1 million. And our car was coming up for the sale. And I think it was so cool to see the car arrive in New York, unloaded in the city. you know, the sort of the city of the Wolf of Wall Street, you know, and have the car there. It was in the Sotheby's building amongst some incredible art pieces and things like that. And I flew up with my business partner Jordy.
The wrecked Lamborghini Countach sold for, I think you said it was selling for 1.1, 1.2. I think I'd rather drive around the wrecked Countach than like a regular one.
Our wives, and we went up
If it worked, like, I think that's kind of a flex.
to witness this in person. You know, there was so much excitement around it.
It's like people buying ripped jeans. It's like, I bought a wrecked $1.2 million car.
There's even a rumor of a European bidder that was willing to
Fuck
go
your
up
jeans.
to, you know, as much as $2 million. He ended up not bidding that night. I believe he contacted us actually after the auction, but the car ended up selling for, it was just over $1.5 million. And man, what an exciting moment. You know, the room was filled with excitement. You know, it was this incredible moment, a world record for a Countach 25th anniversary sold ever. In retrospect, I now know who bought the car, joining an incredible collection, some other great movie cars and things like that. So really, really exciting. Listen, I think looking back, the story of the potential lawsuit, the story of this wrecked car, all of these things.
1.5 doesn't seem like that much. Like, there's Rolls Royces, just regular ass Rolls Royces that sell for not like $700K brand new. Like a Bugatti is more than this. Like, this is a special 101 car. Well, I guess it's not, but it won a, 99 he said or something?
You know, the
I feel like this has more value than
story of me
a lot of these
washing
other
it
cars,
as a
though.
kid, the story of Steven. You know, when you put the sum of it all together, it's probably one of the greatest stories that we've had and probably one of the most important movie cars of our time.
Have to get the wrecked Countach from the Wolf of Wall Street and take that on Gumball 3000. That's a banger.
I've been getting dirty money, Jordan Belfort.